In the heart of Canning Town, where the Thames meets the docks, stands St Luke's, a church born from industry, hardship and hope. In the mid-1800s, the new Victoria and Albert Dock drew thousands of workers and sailors from around the world. Amid all the noise and need, the Church of England saw a district spiritually underprovided. Out of that vision rose St Luke's, dedicated to the physician-evangelist, a healer for body and soul alike. Consecrated in 1875 by Bishop John Jackson, St Luke's quickly became a place of refuge and mission for many. 150 years on, it still stands strong, continuing to serve Canning Town.
Oh, it's impossible to measure how much Canning Town has changed.
It's changed a lot.
It's changed a lot, but it's stayed the same in many ways.
Even at a rate that I could never have predicted.
I mean, every day you walk around and there's a new tower block or a new shop that's opened.
There's different people from different backgrounds out here now, which is a good thing in many ways.
Like physically, Canning Town has changed a lot, but actually in terms of our heart of who we are, it's the same people with the same stories, doing the same things. The stories of St Luke's during World War I, when basically the whole church, all the men left to fight in the war, and somehow the docks were kept working. This place was a place of community. From World War II, the building was bombed, it took a direct hit, the roof came in.
It was left a hollow shell.
I think it lost its roof, and obviously you can see on the pillars the bomb damage. My parents got married just after the war, and although they were coming to St Luke's, they had to get married in St Saviour's Forest Gate because they were meeting in a garage here. The services were in a garage.
Because they couldn't hold the services here to get permission to host services in a garage around the corner so that the women who were here, that everyone's working, could still have communion. Like, what is the story of this place? Why are we here? Like, not just why are we in the school, but this building is beautiful around the corner. Like, what's the story that somehow Charles Dickens is connected to his brother writing it, or Charles Dickens, that basically said he was, employed to research new communities in what was like a sprawling city of London, and he came to what was called the hamlet of Canning Town, saw the working conditions at the dock, the housing, and basically wrote this newspaper article that concluded the king and the bishop have let these people down.
To know that this started to address those issues, and even today, 150 whatever years later, the battle still goes on, the mission still goes on to make a difference. Yeah, I find that really motivating. Both myself and the vicar are regularly told church and school cannot work together. We've had it from the highest level that this doesn't work, and we both look dumbfounded and say, well, it does work because it's working in Canning Town at St Luke's.
The Archdeacon of West Ham, there was a guy called Tim Stevens. He was a great supporter of mine throughout this process. I had to go and see him and explain that this vulnerable group of people were saying that they wanted to try and do this radical thing and move into the school and see if they could start our church afresh. And he had many reasons just to, discourage me really and say, no. And he said to me, Dave, St Luke's at the moment is a church of the crucifixion. And I think God's calling you to make it a church of the resurrection. And there was no great philosophy, there was no great theology. It was just a simple thing of welcoming the people that God brought. And within a year, we were putting out 100 chairs on a Sunday. And and that was through people just arriving because they, for some reason, felt called to be there.
Well, I used to live in North London. When I moved to this area, the only church I found was St Luke's, and I jumped at the opportunity, and I've been there since.
Because I went in there by myself with the children. They went off to King's Kids. I didn't know. As soon as I walked in, they got kind of taken, and then I was just there by myself. But then I didn't feel alone as much as I was literally on my own at that point.
Well, I went to primary school here, so I guess that's kind of what brought me to St Luke's, and we started coming to the church as a family.
I spent a couple of days visiting the community projects, chatting with some of the young people, and immediately saw like a community that had just so much story and grit.
What keeps me here are the children and the families. Obviously I love staff and I love governors, but it's the people, the children, the families, just the life. There's real energy in the area.
Yeah, how long you've been in Canning Town for?
Always.
So you've been
Always. And I'm absolutely do it again, and then I do it again.
Why did you love it at St Luke's?
Because of the people that come to you.
Here we go. So this is photo of your wedding day.
Yeah, that's it there.
So there's
And
you in your
yeah.
Rathbone Market dress, which looks lovely.
Yeah. I bought that off the church.
You bought that off the market.
Yeah.
Then there's who you're getting married to,
Yeah.
Ronnie. Looks quite nice there. He's still got his hair. How long did he have that for?
2 minutes.
I think St Luke's has shown me a lot of what it is to have a foretaste of heaven in the sense of the multicultural, all nations, all tongues, all ages together worshipping. You know, St Luke's is a place of just vibrancy, of people coming from all walks of life together, all with stories and testimonies of God's goodness.
I think it's really given me a purpose and a way of actually doing good. This is the first place I've landed where I felt actually I can give back to a community, and that's the other reason I've stayed for a while.
The sermons it's always according to what's in Scripture. Like, it always leads you and brings you back to Scripture, and then it has you kind of go home and look further into what we've, gotten into at church. I think that has helped me to grow in faith so much.
I mean, I'm very much a parish priest at heart. That's what my heart was for. And so being in that community and of that community, that was a real joy for me.
The biggest manifestation I can say is we get a lot of children come back to us. And they come back and they talk about church, they talk about school, they talk about growing up here, and they talk about that they struggle to find that encompassing umbrella anywhere else, so they come back.
I would say St Luke's really helped with laying the foundations of my faith. I think even through coming here as a child in primary school, I'm just always learning about the Bible, and coming here again on Sundays and being in youth.
I suppose it's always been a focal point. It's always something to sort of come back to. I've appreciated my faith in very difficult times. St Luke's, because it's a family church as well, that my brother and sister-in-law came here. Although they've all moved out, they used to come back to run the fundraising events and brought a lot of people that were involved in the church before with them.
Connect groups are, diamond for me. I can't thank Reverend Amy and Pastor Jing enough. I think that it affords the opportunity for people to exchange views or what, they gather from the preaching of the day, the sermon of the day.
We're passionate about being good news for Canning Town and what it is to serve in that place. In a time where nothing lasts, here we are celebrating 150 years.
I think what I value the most is that people know about St Luke's. I can go around speaking about St Luke's, and even if they don't attend, they are already familiar with who we are. And I think that says a lot within itself.
There's this community aspect where people go, but they always come back. And I think that's incredibly special to have a church that's so planted in the community.
What I value the most is just how St Luke's are with their youth. I'm just seeing how much the leaders, the church in general, pour into youth. I remember always going on different trips. That's one area of the church that I really admire, just how much they pour back into the youth and how much they want to build them up in faith.
Family. It's very clear that it's a family. Everyone that I have spoken to in recent years will say one of the first things they noticed when they came here is how welcome they were, how part of a family that they felt. One of the things we have here that's great, we have a translator on site. I haven't seen that anywhere else.
Well, the hymn that comes to mind the most that I really love to sing, particularly in St Luke's, is King of Kings, Majesty. I think just singing that together with church, it reminds me of who God is.
My favourite song is Awesome. And it was one of the songs that were playing when I was giving birth to Ezra. So that's why I also remember that song.
I would say my favourite song, is Waymaker. I feel like the words are just so powerful.
My favourite hymn, I would say, it would be Waymaker. Waymaker is a song that I think speaks to me. Also, as well, songs that reminds me of Reverend Ian, who is no longer with us, but he was somebody who I consider a beam of light within the church, and how much he genuinely cared about people.
Oh, well, my favorite hymn is in the hymn book. The King of Love, my shepherd is. And, I sometimes when I'm at home, I just sing it. I can sing the first verse. The King of Love, my shepherd is, whose goodness faileth never. I nothing lack if I am his, and he is mine forever. I love it.
I think the impact of St Luke's on this community is almost impossible to measure, because I know when I walk around, either with my collar on or my St Luke's hoodie, everybody has a story to share in Canning Town of the impact of St Luke's on their lives.
Evangelism work, definitely, because we didn't have it at all. Not the time I joined anyway. Maybe they used to do it, I don't know. We are supposed to pass on, what we know about Christ to the world.
So I think it's still remained the focal point, which is really good. And they've done different things over the years to try and connect with the local community.
I think in terms of present day, there's so many different community projects that are running that give an introduction to people into what St Luke's is.
I think St Luke's has had a huge impact on the local community. Like the food bank that we do together on Thursdays, meeting with different people in the community, to Luke's Little Lions, like the toddler group that we run. It's like the presence of St Luke's is felt within the community, and not just being inside this building, but reaching out to making use of this whole area, really.
I think St Luke's has been a big part of the community, whether for people of faith or not of faith. I think it's been a place of refuge, a place of shelter, just a place of trust for a lot of people in the community, somewhere that they know they can go to and get help.
I feel like St Luke's really stirred up the passion and the desire to commune with other people. Even when I go out, I found myself more open to just literally talking to people about faith.
I would love for them to just serve more, to know what it means to serve.
Tell them the good news about Christ, that at the end of the day, we don't live forever, and one day all of us will leave this world. We are born and we die, and when we die, life does not stop there. So it's what is ahead that even matters most.
Well, as I say, they need to, which is what Amy's doing, develop with what you've got to find what people's needs are to be able to engage with them. So let's hope that sort of continues.
I think if it just sticks to the gospel that Jesus gave to us, as that's its purpose for being there, and if it has the joy and the courage of offering that gospel to everybody that wants to receive it, and yet it serves everybody in that community.
God is for everyone, loves everyone, wants everyone to worship, fellowship together.
I would just hope that St Luke's continues to push that message forth, that it doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter your background, where you've come from, how far you are in your journey, that you're equipped to go out and to be that light.
Yeah, I hope that whatever your circumstances, you can feel that St Luke's is here for you. I think St Luke's has always found itself at the centre of this community, providing for the needs that it is. So whether we're talking about, helping to evacuate people during the war, whether we're talking about workers' rights for the dockers, way back at the start of our history, and being part of the establishment of things like that for dockers and communities and helping their families, whether that be in present times, via the food bank, via Little Lions together on Thursdays, providing for, needs for food or needs for companionship, whether that's through some of our youth projects and making things accessible and affordable for people to be part of. And I hope the impact is that we are people who increasingly aren't just a church for ourselves, but actually are increasingly looking out to the parish, into the community, asking how can we serve? How can we be good news for Canning Town as St Luke's? Jesus didn't die and rise again for us to have a busier church. He died and rose again for the renewal of all things.
Maybe the best word, I think, vibrant.
Present throughout the times.
Open.
A place where people feel welcome.
A church of the resurrection.
Yeah, I would definitely say foundation. It's been a foundation of building my faith in my life.
It's the best church. It's not because Reverend is here. Yes.
Before we go, do you want to say happy birthday to St Luke's?
Oh, I do.
Go on, say happy birthday, St Luke's, to them all.
Happy birthday, all.
Through war, fire, and rebuilding, the spirit of St Luke's has never left Canning Town. Today, that same faith still burns bright, a new generation carrying the light forward, welcoming neighbours, feeding families, mentoring youth and sharing the good news in an ever-changing city. From its first mission to seafarers to its present-day community work, St Luke's remains what it has always been. A light beside the docks, a healing place for hearts and homes. Its story is still being written by every person who walks through its doors.